I'm coming out for my morning walk predominantly because I feel like there's going to become a time where both me and Laura are basically just cooped up inside, so I'm trying to make the most of any time I can actually get outside. It's like half an hour later than normal because Laura started getting up at a different time, which like kind of messes up when I can have like a shower and a shave and whatnot. So in complete fairness, it's rare that I'm out at this time in particular, but it is so eerily quiet. Like all of the roads, like it's a relative main road over there, not many cars on it. It's so weird. And it feels so surreal, this like coronavirus stuff, because I've obviously been working from home for the last like 7 months. I don't work for a company that would be like constantly giving me news, so the only thing I see is what's happening on the news. And then I just leave the house and then it's like dead. But on Saturday I was in town when I got my hair cut, and it was like relatively normal. It was only a little bit quieter than normal, and like if you didn't know, you'd be like, oh, it's just a normal day, you know. Felt like a Sunday instead of a Saturday, that kind of thing. It's weird, man. But yeah, I need to make the most of times out and about before I get cooped up inside with very little to do with myself, you know. Also an absolutely lovely day. It's lovely and crisp and cold but dry. It's great. I love this kind of weather. It's lovely and sunny as well. I need to talk to my recruit. So I've started a new job in 2 weeks, literally 2 weeks today. And I need to talk to the recruiter and be like, do you know what the plan is? Obviously I'm expecting plans to be relatively volatile, but is the default do this unless I hear otherwise? We'll see. It's gonna be a bit of an odd one. But yeah, so my general plan is just try and I'm like starting to tinker with some programming over the weekend again, and I'm just trying to like get back into that kind of stuff, you know. Living the dream. I've got like I'm planning on building a CDN style blog engine thing. I've got an idea of how I want it to work, how I like wish other ones would work. I don't know whether or not it's possible, but that's half the fun. So instead of building something I know is possible, I'm just kind of building something else. But there's a couple of things I need to do with some of the old Radspider code before I can start, basically. But yeah, I'm just kind of tinkering with that and then just kind of going on the computer and playing games all day. It's pretty fun times, to be honest with you boys. Key for me is to find something to keep my like the part of my brain that goes crazy if I'm not being productive. Keep that part of my brain like happy. Some cars moving around, boys. Maybe it's a little bit less airy over here. It is getting to like, well not 9 o'clock, but like people would start commuting to work in theory now. I don't know. Also, being however many months behind on videos, it's not probably best for me to talk about this kind of stuff, because whatever happens, come out the other end, like if we're literally at like the fucking apocalypse, I'm gonna look like a right twat. You know, every now and again I see people driving around with like headphones on, you know what I mean, like my big style headphones like this, yeah? So I just got back from my walk, and the car when we came back from Beth and Ben's the other day, I couldn't park it very well. Like I had to like kind of bodge it in somewhere, and I didn't park it very well. So anyway, I thought, the road's relatively empty now. I'll move the car into a better spot so it's not like, it wasn't blocking anything, but like I don't like parking it outside other people's houses if I can avoid it. So I moved it, but I still had my headphones on from the walk, and I moved it about like 10 meters, and it was the weirdest sensation ever, because like you can't hear the car at all. It's like playing a game, like a video game. So weird. I didn't like it. So if you ever see someone driving around with headphones on that look like they're noise cancelling, it's probably the noise cancelling that does it. Stay as far away from that car as you possibly can, because they cannot have any, like, god damn, man. And God knows, like, obviously I can't hear my own car, so let alone hearing other people's cars. Weird. Didn't like that. I won't do that again. I am back though. It was a relatively long walk actually. It was quite slow. And it's not that bad around like the shopping centre and stuff. So people are still getting about. We're not in complete lockdown yet, but like Laura thinks that her workplace is going to go in lockdown, work from home styly, starting at some point this week, if not absolute latest Monday. I have a feeling that's probably a good bet. Most companies that can do work from home will start to freak out and start getting people to work from home. So yeah, it looks like we are going to be working from home at the moment. They are trying to figure out whether or not, obviously it's 2 weeks away. Anything can change in 2 weeks. Things change hourly at the moment, so but it's looking highly likely that our first day will be spent working from home. So how they get computers to us will be the question. I would hate to be IT right now. I know, like, people think that I work in IT because I'm obviously work with computers and I'm a software developer, but like I'm not actually IT. IT helpers, in general, but to be fair, developers are probably the biggest thorn in IT's side because we're like, we want less restrictions. I could do this. Why are you getting in my way? But like, could you imagine working for IT in an IT departments in standard companies where all of a sudden they have to do all of this crazy stuff? Like companies like Laura's, which is like not technically advanced at all. They were talking about inside. This isn't really relevant, obviously, for you right now, but Laura's workplace is talking about like trying to get people to work from home as much as possible. They have like a weird remote desktoping thing, which doesn't run very well on some computers. So they've done like spoken to all of their staff and gone, who has computers that they can use? And a lot of people don't even have computers anymore. That is such a like alien concept to me. Obviously, I'm an edge case. I have like 4 computers in this house right now. And then like Laura's got one. I've got like a couple of Raspberry Pis playing about. I've got I'm obviously an edge case. I will always have 2 working computers, a laptop and a desktop, always. But like most people just have iPads. And some people just have ancient Macs, which apparently they can't use. Mental. So all those people have to figure out how people who don't really use computers that much, how to get them up and running without like being there to do it for them. Like they won't be able to remotely take control of my computer, but they'll be able to do it to them in the office. Wild. Like, I'd hate to be part of that. And like, even for my new company, they're going to be sending out, well, I mean, on the day that I start, about 10 laptops, I guess, which are all going to be configured. We're all going to be trying to get them to work around the same time. Fuck that, man. That's stressful as fuck. Every now and again, little pictures of Graham come up on there, and like times like this make me really miss having a little pet around. And we were planning on getting a dog, but my job really is like me actually going to get a real job rather than working for if I made a success of working for myself, we could have a dog no problem, obviously, because I'll be here all the time to look after it. But me getting a real job means that because of what Laura does, we can't like stagger our work days enough to be able to be around enough for a dog, and our back garden like isn't that good enough to leave them out all day. So I might have to cave to getting a cat. I don't really want a cat. I like cats, but I don't really want a cat because I want a dog, you know? I'd have a rabbit. The thing is, I've heard that introducing a puppy to an adult cat isn't fun. But you can introduce a kitten to a well-trained dog, you know? Basically, because cats are arseholes, right? So, I have now, my CDN is now updated and ready to rock and roll. It's got some changes in it. I've updated to a newer version of Semantic UI. I've tested my site against the new version and the old version. I've updated it so that it works better with the new version and it doesn't have a negative effect on the old version. So I'm going to redeploy the new site. Radspider.net isn't affected, it's only Varialis. So I'm going to update the new site, get that published. I need to check something weird goes on with the CDN version in the deployment script, so I'm going to check that out. But I'm now going to like hotfix in the thing. The problem I have is that I don't really have a backup like this. I only have one CDN because they're relatively expensive. So it's a bit like, it always feels a bit like hot potato-y to do the CDN. But yeah, I've definitely got an issue with updating the version numbers. It doesn't work properly, so I need to figure out how how and why that's not working. Just remembered I've got the dentist today. I almost completely forgot about that. Right. I'm procrastinating again, aren't I? Cup of tea time. Oh, God damn it. This is what I mean about, like, I took such a big game about being productive. And I'm just not. There and back in as little as half an hour, boys. Beautiful. Right. What should I do now? I feel like I can't really have a cup of tea after just being to the dentist. It'll taste weird. So let's wait a bit for a cup of tea. Let's get that bloody thing released. It's always a bit harder getting things released than like built, because obviously there's all the credentials required to get from this place to this place. And I've moved it out of the thing that has the credentials. Because it's technically, it's not in, or is it in my prod environment? Oh, maybe, I'm talking to myself. Ignore me. Someone I fucking emailed to try and get information when I was doing Red Spider stuff just responded to me. Like 3 months after I sent the message. What the hell? Why? I've given up on you. Oh dear, why? Who finds an email that they received 3 months ago and replies to it? When that email's sent to like a corporate account where you've probably got loads of emails. It's not like you've been off for like 3 months, you know? What the heck? I mean, I'm not complaining, but you know. Got from here to the dentist and back again, 30 minutes flat. Timed it perfectly as well, boys, because literally about 2 hours later, Boris, old Bojo, comes on TV and suggests that, and like they've increased all the things you have to do for coronavirus now. So you have to work from home if it's possible, and then if you have like any of the symptoms, then you should quarantine for 7 days or 14 days if it's your whole, like, so if one of me or Laura gets it, it's 14 days. If you're on your own, 7. Fun times. The most fun was that he decided to do that on the day that we do shopping. So obviously everyone panic bought a load of stuff and the shelves were literally empty. It was crazy. And I thought I was being quite clever I deliberately designed a meal plan around things that we would probably be able to get, like predominantly fruit. So I've done a meal plan of, with the exception of pie and chips, which is tomorrow, and tuna and pasta bake. With those 2 exceptions, hang on, I think that's not on the list. 1 second. Everything else is either like fresh vegetable stuff and designed to create batches. So, so for example, sweet and sour chicken, that's for batches. Pork vindaloo, that's slow cooked, batches. Stew, like all these things are batches. We did a couple of batches last week, so we've like basically trying to stock up the freezer so that we're all right for a bit, you know, because. But I'm the kind of person, we've always done like a meal plan and explicitly bought the things we needed to buy, you know? And that doesn't work when people are panic buying because obviously none of that stuff's there. So you kind of got to go to a different kind of strategy, which kind of induces more waste. We waste so little food. It's unreal. Like, so we have like obviously like a wheelie bin outside, a black wheelie bin where we put all of our normal waste. That stuff, that gets emptied every fortnight, and maybe we would have filled up this bin. That's how like little we waste. And we also have like a food bin, so that's not entirely true. We have a food bin here, which has like obviously food waste. So it adds things like tea bags in it, orange peels, banana peels, things like that, you know. That gets emptied once a week. Like we waste so little food because we know how much we eat, blah blah blah. But now we've got to like kind of just kind of go see what's there, get what's there, and then kind of make stuff out of it. And that is not my wheelhouse. I'm not very good at that. So I was trying to get ahead of the game effectively and get batches in so that I know what I'm doing. But yeah, so I might have to go shopping again in a week to figure out to like get the odd bits for meals that we didn't manage to get. I I feel kind of bad, you know, like, so for example, butter, the butter we buy was on offer. Normally if the butter's on offer, I buy 2 because it's cheaper. But I felt bad doing that. So I didn't, I only bought 1 because obviously don't need 2. It's things like that, you know, you just gotta be a little bit more cautious. But anyway, yeah, so that's life, basically. We're in quarantine, well, we're not in quarantine, we're in working from home mode, which basically means almost 100% definite. Are we starting a new job working from home, which is gonna be weird as fuck. In a way, I should stop rambling before this video goes on for too long. I should start uploading videos. Everyone's gonna have a lot of more spare time to have views when they're all in quarantine. Which is good because I'm very far behind still. You know what, guy? I'm having a pretty good day today so far. Got up relatively, well, normal time and stuff, and then went to the supermarket relatively early. I didn't want to go like as they opened, but like a little bit after. Managed to get some of the things that we needed for the week, and then substituted. So instead of having pork vindaloo, we're having, I'm going to try chicken thighs. Chicken thighs should be good. It's slow cooked, so it's a different recipe than, you know. So it's not as simple as just swapping it out, but it should be okay, I reckon. Yeah, so that wasn't too bad. And then we come back, and then both me and Laura are working from home now. She's taken a monitor off me, so I'm slumming it with only 1 monitor. But so far I've been doing all right, even though I am kind of like copying between 2 different things. I'm doing a lot of deployment stuff, fixing some issues with my old deployments, learning, like doing a lot of learning. I'm enjoying myself, and kind of scripting out these updates and whatnot to my CDN, how my web apps get updated because of that. Yeah, it's just like a load of DevOpsy stuff, and I feel like I'm enjoying it. I feel like I've learned stuff that I didn't know. And that's what you want to do, isn't it? But it is now sandwich time, boys and girls. Lunchtime. So I'm currently having issues with my caching on the CDN. I've got 2 problems. One of which is the updates I'm doing to the config values are different. So when I first do a deployment, I'm setting a value in app settings, and I should be setting an environment variable, because when I do updates to the CDN, I only have access to the environment variables. I don't have access to the app settings, and I don't want to lock down the location of the app settings file, if possible, in the web apps. The other problem is, the way that I'm knowing what version of the CDN to hit is in a file that the CDN is protecting, and I can't stop it from caching that file. So I update it to have a new value in, and then I hit the CDN and go, hey, what's the latest version? And it gives me the cached one. And it's fucking annoying. Now, like, I could hack it and just whack a GUID on the end of my the URL that checks to find out what the value is. That's one way of going about it, because it will effectively be going, hey, get me a new one. But then that means I'm setting a cache, granted a very temporary cache, for 7 days for that thing. I don't really want to do that. I've got 2 ideas as to why it's happening, but we'll see. Well, one of them is based on the fact that updating the settings means nothing if it's already cached. That's one of my hypotheses, and the other hypothesis is that I need to add the filters that I'm using are on the origin, not on the CDN itself. They're the 2 things I've got to test, but it's such a pain in the ass to test, because if you've got to wait for things to like propagate through the CDN and stuff. But we're there, we're almost there. They're the 2 last things. Otherwise, been a productive day today. Haven't played a single game, although I'm thinking about staying up a little bit and just having a little cheeky game. We have another day working tomorrow. Obviously Laura's here full time now, working from home. We're living the dream, boys. Today was a little bit less productive. So Shawnee Boy, of Sean fame, messaged me saying that his dad's now developed a cough. he's moving jobs as well recently, so we've been like talking about that. He's in like he's working down his notice period, but his dad has got a cough, and like symptoms. So now his house is in like quarantine effectively. So he's now not working for the end of his notice period. And then I foolishly said, well, I'm not really working, so if you want to play Xbox or something, let me know. And then therefore we spent all day playing GTA. God damn. Almost too much time playing GTA, to be honest with you. It almost got boring. That's how much. So it's not good. I did fix my issues that I had yesterday. It turned out that the caching problem was to do with the fact that I needed to purge the cache settings. It seemed like, effectively, like I wasn't doing a full purge. So what I should have done was set the settings and then purge the cache, because effectively what was happening was I was just constantly using the cache. To be honest with you, I'm not really 100% sure, but that's what happened. I set the settings, waited 15 seconds, then purged, 15 minutes, sorry, then purged everything, and now it works properly. So, and I've done like several redeploys and stuff, and it bumps the versions, so that's all good. Fixed issues with the updating the apps as well, in particular. I'm now not using app settings, so I'm using environment variables to override the app settings for all of the apps. So yeah, let's go on. Yeah, I mean, I literally did that, and that was about it today, which is not I mean, it's one of those things that could effectively take all day, you know, how long's a piece of string kind of problems. But yeah, otherwise, anything else to note? No. Day 3 tomorrow. Gonna try and get a bit more work done tomorrow. So now I've got that sorted, I can start moving my identity server into the common area rather than just RadSpider, and I'm going to start working on, or in fact I might move some Nuget Packages first because it might be a bit easier. Then I'm going to start working on shifting the identity server so that it's so it can work for multiple clients. So it works for RadSpider, works separately for the other services I'm going to start spinning up. Maybe I should spin up that service first. So I'll figure it out. I could probably move it and then make sure it still works with RadSpider, and then do the work. We'll probably do that, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Hot damn, today has been a lot more productive. It's about 3 o'clock, I'm going to play Xbox with Sean now. Laura's just on the phone to some people at work. I'm making them a cup of tea. I went and I opened the door because I'm making a brew. And I just opened the door and was just like, tea? I obviously didn't say anything. I went, tea? And she goes, and then I went, P for peppermint? That's probably not a P, is it, actually, for you? Probably is for you, but not for her. Damn it, it would have been that way. Ah, I was so slick. And then she was like, no. And I was like, normal? For normal tea? God damn, man, we got this working from home teamwork shit, god damn. Anyway, I wasn't going to tell you that, and then I transitioned into it by mistake. So, I have been doing a load of code migration stuff for Nuget Packages, particularly. Migrating things out of... You would have thought it would be possible to just kind of go, move this into a different project in Azure DevOps, and you just can't. Like, you have to kind of import an entire thing. You've got to like explicitly export and import things, which is such a pain in the ass. But I am working on it. In some places it's not quite as simple as just a straight lift and shift. I'm doing quite a lot of like consolidation and like tidying things up where they need to be tidied up. For example, framework.configuration has blended in with framework.servicefabric because they're both. So I had framework.servicefabric, and that had within it a mass transit Nuget package, and then I had framework.configuration, which has service fabric Nuget package in it. Blend them all together, and I'm going to blend in some stuff from Varialis Common, which is like kind of a place where this is the bit that's hard now, because that's kind of the place that has all of the generic stuff like models and basic interfaces, extension methods. And I'm trying to figure out homes for all of those things, so I don't have like a generic umbrella. I have like kind of specialized things. So I'm going to have a pagination Nuget package, which I previously haven't done. I just put that under Common. I mean, it could stay within Common rather than have its own repo, but I feel like it can grow or shrink on its own otherwise. So I'm kind of trying to get rid of at the moment, trying to get rid of common. The problem with this is because I hit validation, and validation has quite a lot of like tendrils. There's, because it integrates with the mediator package, common itself, and I'm like trying to figure out kind of where to segregate these out. So there isn't a core central one, you know, because to a lot of extent, the core central one doesn't make sense. Like, I wouldn't know whether to look in the core central one or another one, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I'm looking for something like this. Do I look in common or do I look in blah, blah, blah? And I want common to not exist, so you'll be like, oh, that one, clearly. So I'm having lots of fun there. I am working my way through that. It's just getting really confusing. But I'm updating everything as I go, and I'm migrating to the new version of Azure Pipelines. So previously I didn't have like a YAML file. I hate YAML, by the way. Jason's way better than YAML. Let's go on that bridge, die on that hill. So yeah, I'm working from there and doing that. Also, yesterday at 5:30, the plan was for me to go into town next week and pick up my like laptop and stuff for my job the week after. Between then and now, they've changed their mind. They're going to courier it to us tomorrow. So, living the dream. I'm going to end the video here, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to bed. It's late. I said to myself that I wouldn't. It's not that late. Oh, nice. It's not even. I thought it was getting to midnight, but it's not. It's only, Laura went to bed like an hour earlier than normal, and that just like knocks me out. I've got nothing to watch. I'm bored, so I'm going to bed. I've been working on my laptop, but my laptop battery died. So yeah, in the afternoon I played Xbox with Sean, and then I was after dinner. I was on my laptop churning through some more Nuget packages. I've flicked out the 2 Nuget packages, spun them out into their own separate one now, out of common. And now I have got to do the testing one, and then we're into the validation one. I've also deleted a couple of things that's not necessary. I'm trying to figure out like what's using them and whether or not it needs to be in common. Because in some scenarios I seem to have just put it into common just for banter. Where like I've put it there once because I was like, oh, maybe I'll need that. And then obviously never used it. And in some scenarios it's not really necessary either, because Swagger is doing a little bit of it for me, i.e. an API gateway. Yeah, like I say, the 2 bits that are getting complicated are Service Fabric. Oh no. Service Fabric references both use a common model, a reference model, and I don't know whether or not that needs to be the case. I'm trying to figure out what would happen if I'd made the Service Fabric reference and the API reference not come from the same base class. I don't think it matters, to be honest with you. I think maybe automapper changes, but I'm always going to have the same one. I'm always going to, like, there's no reason why I have to go from base to API. I could just go from Service Fabric to API, and there isn't another one. The API is public facing and the Service Fabric is internal facing, so I don't know. Anyway, things to think about. So much changed today. Did I say this on a video? I might have said this on a video already, haven't I? I'm getting my laptop tomorrow. Yeah. I feel like I've already said a lot of what I've just said to you. Anyway, I'm going to go to bed. Thanks for watching this, gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll catch you later.